Okay, you guys can hear me, right? Yes? Excellent. So let's find a comfortable seat to start tonight. And before we start, just make sure you have a strap and a block or two. Okay, you can always use a tie or a belt, and you could use books if you don't have the blocks. And then finding a comfortable seat, you may want to place a cushion or the blanket underneath you to lift the hips up to allow the knees to release down. And as we come into tonight's practice, remembering that we're different every time we come to our mat. So getting rid of any preconceived notions of what we will look like tonight, what we will feel like, and being open to just creating this space where you can experience the poses as if it's the first time you've ever been here. So we're going to start with that comfortable seat. If you like, you can cross one leg in front of the other. If that doesn't work, the legs can be out at front, and if anything that I lead up here doesn't feel right, feel free to switch it up. I'm going to walk us through a couple of modifications in today's class because we will come onto the knees. And I know for some of you it's not that comfortable, so I will give you the option of doing the poses seated too. And when we get to that point, I'll walk you through that. So letting the hands rest either palms up or palms down, finding a nice long spine. So coming out of the waist, lifting through the crown of the head. And then a gentle drop of the chin towards the chest, but still keeping that long spine. Let the eyes gently close or take a soft gaze down at the floor. And just for a few moments, bring your attention to the breath. Noticing the breath as it moves through the body. It just, without changing anything, notice the quality of the breath, where you feel that breath enter. Maybe it's the tip of the nostrils, maybe it's the back of the throat. And as we slowly welcome that breath into the body, notice the expansion on the inhale. Right? The belly inflates, the ribs will flare out. Maybe you can even feel a little lift at the heart. And then as we exhale, notice how everything just settles down. Right? Coming back down. And give a little squeeze of the navel to the spine at the end of the exhalation. Let's move into our three-part Dirga breath. Releasing the belly and filling it like a balloon. And then bringing the breath to the ribs and all the way up to the collarbones. At the same time, let the shoulders relax down. And as we exhale, drop the chin to the chest, stretching out the back of the neck, and little squeeze of the navel towards the spine at the end of the exhalation. And now follow your rhythm of your breath. As we breathe in, we're bringing in prana and life force. And as we breathe out, it's an opportunity to release whatever it is that is not serving you tonight. So just let it go with the breath. Let's check in on some of the common areas that we tend to hold without even realizing. So as we exhale, check in with the little corners of the eyes, with the jaw. Let the shoulders relax and release. And notice if there's any other place in the body where you may be clenching or holding tightly. Just let that go. And if you are familiar with Ujjayi breath, the ocean sounding breath, it sounds like it's a constriction in the back of the throat. It sounds like a little snore. It's as if we're going with the lips closed. You can layer that on. And we use this breath because having a sound gives the mind a place to focus. And the constriction slows the breath down. And we'll just do 3 more rounds like that. Breathing in, filling the body with prana, and exhaling completely. 2 more like that. Never creating strain or sharp sensation in the body. And one more time, 3-part diga breath. And as we exhale, just noticing how maybe that tiny bit of breath work created a little shift in the body. And then allowing the eyes to gently open. And the gaze to lift. We'll start with some seated warm-ups. Tonight we will move to some standing. And at the end of the class, we'll be down on the mat for a little bit of relaxation and some gentle restorative. So let the arms come out to the side and just start to wiggle the fingers and make a fist and circle those fists in one direction and then circle the other way. Haidana. Then release the fingers and sit up nice and tall. Shoulders are down, nice long spine. And as we inhale, start to sweep the fingers out to the side and all the way up to the sky. And now notice where your shoulders are. If they're all the way up by the ears, let them release back down. And sometimes it's easy to do that by taking the elbows out to the side, creating these little cactus arms, right? And then we're gonna reach up on the left side and the right side, just creating a little space in the side body. So I will be mirroring you guys tonight so that we're all moving in the same direction. And bring both arms all the way up towards the sky. Turn the palms out, and as we exhale, slowly float the arms down. Let the chin come down to the chest. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, rising up. Nice long spine, big breath in. Exhale, flip the palms, and slowly, as the fingers float alongside the body, let the chin drop. One more time, inhale, coming up. This time, let the palms meet above the head in prayer, and as we exhale, bring them down to the heart. Setting an intention, what is it you would like to cultivate on your mat tonight? And then sweeping those arms up, big breath in. We're gonna take that right hand down to the mat and just hinge over towards the left side. And press the left hip down as we reach up and over towards the right. And notice the sensation down the side body. And from here, bend into that right elbow, coming a little deeper, and then straighten the arm on an inhale. And find this gentle pulsing as we come up and then exhale to the side. So we're warming up, no huge movements here. Holding here, reach through the left fingers, take a big breath, and sweep those fingers down and inhale them back up. And do that 2 more times, releasing the shoulder. If the shoulders are really tight, we're gonna bend the elbow. Let's go in the other direction. Big arms, reach up and let the exhalation bring you back down. The next time those fingers reach towards the sky, pause. Turn the palm towards the left. And as we exhale, let that left hand sweep down and the right arm sweep up. Pause here, press into the right hip. And on the exhale, bend into the left elbow, coming a little deeper, and inhale, rising up. And you can come to fingertips, you can bring that block under the palm. Right, walk the hand out a little bit further if you want a deeper stretch. And then hold here, right fingers reaching to the left, shoulder down, nice length, beautiful. And on the exhale, sweep that arm down and all the way back up. 3 big sweeping circles, one direction. And let's take it the other way. Reach those right fingers up to the sky, and as we exhale, let the hand float down, bringing the body back up. So in a little bit, we'll be moving into our kneeling postures, cat and cow, child's pose. In the event you prefer sitting, I just want to take you guys through that, and we can do this together because it's a beautiful warm-up. Bring the palms to the knees, tuck the chin to the chest, pull the belly in, and press the back towards the wall behind you, rounding the spine in one direction. As we inhale, slide those elbows towards the waist, lift the heart, look up if the neck allows, drop the head. And find this flexion and extension of the spine as we rock forward and we rock back. And letting the movement be filled with breath. Come on back through center, so that would be your cat and cow modification. Bring the arms above the head And as we exhale, simply let the fingers float down in front of you. And then walk the fingers out in front, let the head drop. This would be your child's pose mod if you don't want to be on your knees tonight. So let's take a breath here, come high on the fingertips, lift and lengthen. And as you exhale, let the head drop down, bend the elbows. Do that one more time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Walk the hands over to the right side. Get a little bit of a stretch on the left. Come back through center and take it all the way over the other way. Let's come on back through center and bring the palms back to the knees. We'll be going through some thread the needle. So the option to do that seated with the right hand pressing into the right thigh. Just sweep the left arm up and take a peek up. As you exhale, thread the left hand through the right and drop that left elbow towards the thigh or the knee and look towards the right. Sweeping out, inhale up and taking a nice lift, the hips are pressing, and as we exhale, find that gentle twist, just coming through, resting the arm on the thigh. One more time like that, inhale, rising. And we're going to take that left hand to the thigh and sweep the right fingers up. Big breath. Exhale, thread through. Right, and it could be the forearm or the elbow, depending on how deep you want to get that stretch. And look to the left. As we inhale, we unwind. As we exhale, we come through. And one more time like that, inhale, rising up. And exhale, bringing the hands to the knees. Let's just circle that spine a bit. Coming in one direction. And now in this movement, you'll feel one hip come up as the other presses down. Make these nice big circles and then circle the other way. Okay, let's come back through center, and if you're sitting on something, you might want to move that off. Bring the legs out in front, bending the knees. Bring the hands behind you to support the body. Start to gently windshield wipe those knees from side to side. And notice how the hips and the knees are feeling tonight, especially around the joints. Never ever moving to sharp sensation or pain. You might want to turn the head in the opposite direction of the legs. And the next time that the knees drop over to the left, let's pause here. Press that left palm down, extend the right leg out, and sweep the right arm up, coming into our half circle. Staying here or lifting the hips, coming into a variation of a knee down plank, and breathing. Take one more breath here. Big breath in. And as we exhale, let the hips come down if they're up. Bring the knees back up and take them over to the other side. This time it's the right palm pressing into the mat. So we want that wrist underneath the shoulder. We extend the top leg and sweep the left fingertips up. Pause here, maybe stay here, especially if coming up hurts the wrists, or if you want a deeper stretch, lift those hips. And take a big breath, creating that space. Open the heart, open the chest. And as we exhale, let those hips come on back down. And come on back to center. So moving on to the hands and knees. And taking those options to do this seated if the knees are a little cranky tonight. So we're just going to start by turning towards the left side of the mat. So the short side of the mat. And finding our tabletop. So tabletop, you want the wrists under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. When we stack like that, it protects the joints. And then see how the wrists feel. Sometimes directly under the shoulders, a little too much, so we can walk the hands out, or you can even take that blanket and place it under the hands. And then dropping the belly, lifting the gaze, shoulders are down, taking a big breath in, coming into cow pose. As we exhale, push the mat away, chin to chest, round the spine. Cat pose. Flowing between these poses, inhale, you may even want to tuck your toes, lift the heart, exhale, flatten the feet, round into cat. And two more times like that. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. And exhale, reversing. Try and do this nice and slow. Right, really feeling the spine moving through flexion and extension. Next time we arch into cat, continue pressing back and find a child's pose. Maybe separating the knees a little bit wider. And you can stack one hand on top of the other or take a block under the forehead and take 2 deep breaths here in our child's pose. With every exhale, scan the body. Can you soften just a tiny bit more? Let's come on back up into our tabletop. So starting with thread the needle, pressing into the right palm, we're going to sweep the left arm up and turn and look towards the left, finding that length. And as you exhale, take the left hand behind the right wrist and reach through. Let the inhalation unwind you and bring you back up, and the exhalation bring you through. One more time like that, coming up. And this time we're going to pause here, reaching through, and we use that right hand to support us. The head is gently resting on the mat. If you want a deeper stretch, you can take that right hand to the left, interlace the fingers, give a little pull, or you can come into a bind, taking that right hand all the way behind, reaching for the left hip. Lots of choices. Wherever you are, make sure that the breath is flowing. Deep breath in. Right, and on the next exhale, if you took that bind, bring the palm back to the mat. Inhale, unwind, sweeping, left arm up to the sky. Exhale, coming back down. One more time, hips to heels, child's pose, extending the arms out and taking a breath. Inhale to rise back up. I'm going to change my position just so I'm facing the correct way to the camera. This time pressing into that left hand, sweep the right arm up. As you exhale, take it through. Inhale, rising up. And exhale, coming through. One more time, inhale, lengthen. And as we exhale, coming down, we use that hand on the mat to support the body, very little weight on the head. If you want to take the option of interlacing the fingers, getting a slightly deeper stretch, or maybe taking that top arm up and around, finding the bind. And breathing, notice where the mind goes. Right? Can it stay with the breath and the sensation in the body? Unwinding, if you took that bind, pressing the palm down, pressing back up to tabletop. Tuck the toes. We're going to come to stand by moving through downward facing dog. If down dog doesn't work for you, just come to stand and meet us in a forward fold. Tuck the toes, start to press the hips back as the knees come off the mat, shifting the hips and coming into our upside down V. And start to straighten one leg and bend the opposite knee and just kind of walk it out a bit. And you want to shift the weight all the way back. So bend your knees to do that. Taking the weight out of the wrists, then dropping the head down. Shake your head yes and no. And then look between the hands and start to walk the feet towards the hands towards the feet. And find a forward fold right in the middle of the mat. Let opposite hands come to the elbows. Let the head drop and find ragdoll. A gentle sway side to side. Shake your head yes and no. And then rising up, bring the palms to the thighs. Separate the feet about hip width so they're parallel. Palms are on the thighs. We're just going to drop the seat and lift the chest. And as we exhale, let the head drop. Lift the hips and find this little rocking. Right, just dropping the seat, coming up. Exhale, folding forward. One more time like that. Drop the seat, pause here, lift the chest up, sweep the arms, and find Utkatasana, chair pose. So a little fiery in the beginning tonight, right? Generating a little bit of heat because it's really cold and nasty out there. Take a breath, reach through the fingers, take the tailbone, press it down. See if you get a little bit longer in the waist. And then on the next exhalation, press the feet into the floor as we rise up And then let those arms float back down. And give a little shake, shaking out the legs. And we'll come into our standing postures. But first start with a couple of sun breaths. So separate the feet hip width apart, pressing into the feet. And press into the toes, lifting the heels, then rock into the heels, lift the toes, bend and straighten. And just trying to feel the way the body will balance itself as we move a little left and right. And then see if you can find that space where we're right in the middle, big toe, pinky toe, middle of the heels. Little bend to the knees and then straighten the legs as if you are trying to straighten them, but at the very last minute resisting. Belly in, tailbone down. Sweep the arms above the head, big breath in. As we exhale with a soft bend, float down, forward fold. Find a half lift, maybe bringing the palms to the shins or the thighs looking forward. And as we exhale, we come back down. Sweep the arms out as we rise back up. Let the hands meet in prayer and exhale the hands to the heart. 2 more times like that. Inhale, rising, big breath in. Exhale, softly folding forward. Find that half lift, lengthen, and exhale, come on down. Slide the arms out as we rise back up. Let the hands come into the heart. 1 more time. Inhale, rising up, and exhale, folding. Half lift and length. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the arms as we rise. This time, interlace the fingers as we come up. And then walk the toes and heels towards each other. Try squeezing the legs. See how that feels. Right? If that doesn't feel good, put a little space. We're going to tick-tock side to side, coming up and over. And then come through center. Take a big breath in. Make sure those shoulders are pressing down. And take the hips to the left and reach all the way out to the right. Press into the feet. Take a big breath in. Inhale, find a little length. As you exhale, you can use that right hand to pull the left arm up and over. Take another big breath here. Notice if you're clenching the jaw, squeezing the eyes, let that go. And on the next inhale, rise back to center. As we exhale, take it up and over to the other side. Big breath in, find a little length. And on the exhalation, where can you soften? Right, relaxing the jaw, maybe relaxing the gaze down towards the mat. You can look in the opposite direction. And as we inhale, we rise back up. Let the arms float back down and give everything a little shake. So we're going to separate the feet nice and wide, moving into our standing postures, starting with the warrior poses. So take the hands to the hips, take a nice wide stance, and tonight we're going to get into our warrior two just a little different. Take the left toes and turn them to the left. And I want you guys to bend that left knee and bring the elbow or the forearm down to just behind the knee. So make sure that knee never crosses the ankle. And then take the butt and kind of stick it out. And it gets you down a little bit lower. And then start to straighten that back leg. Take that right hand, reach it out in front. Take a big breath and swing it all the way around and bring yourself up to warrior two. Pretty cool, right? Check out that front knee. Never crosses the ankle. It could be behind, right? And reach to the front and reach to the back. And we'll put a little movement into this pose. Flip the palms as we inhale, straighten that front leg. Let the hands meet in prayer. As we exhale, float back down, gaze over the front fingers. 2 more times like that, looking up on the inhale. Exhale, coming down. 1 more time. Big breath in, and then holding here in our warrior two, our Virabhadrasana two. Strong warriors, right? Come out of the way, shoulders relax down. Take the palms, turn them towards the sky. Notice how that will release the shoulders. And then turn them back down without lifting the shoulders up. We're going to flip that front palm and let the back hand come down to the leg as we reach the left fingers up to the sky. Peaceful warrior pose. Notice if you straighten the leg and see if you can keep that bend. With every inhale, we get a little longer. With every exhale, we see where we can make some space. One more breath here. And then inhale to rise the arms back up and come back to warrior two. Straighten the legs, turn the toes forward, arms above the head, big breath in. As you exhale, forward fold. Maybe taking a block and bringing it just under the face if the fingertips don't reach the floor. You can always take a wider stance. Bring the left hand under the face and sweep that right arm up, coming to a gentle twist. As we exhale, just switch the hands. Right hand down, and left arm up, look to the left. Coming back down, inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. And as we exhale, bring the hands to the hips, turn the right toes to the right, and bend that right knee. Same thing here, forearm or knee to the thigh. Take the butt and press it back to get down a little bit lower, and then tuck it under. Left arm reaches out in front and brings you all the way up into our warrior two pose. And then check out the knee, make sure it's safe. Breathing here, beautiful. Flip the palms, inhale, straighten that leg, hands in prayer. Exhale, float back down. 2 more times like that. Once more, and then holding in our warrior two. Notice this side might feel a little different, and that's normal, right? We have one side that's a little stronger, a little tighter. Let's flip that front palm, inhale, right arm up, left hand down. Peaceful warrior pose. Take a breath, find the length as we exhale, reaching up and back. So it's a gentle back bend. Relax the face, relax the breath. And with the next inhalation, lift you back up as we exhale, the arms come back to warrior two. Straighten that right leg, hands to hips. Bring the feet back towards each other. And just for a moment, one hand to the belly. One hand to the heart. Drop the chin to the chest. If you're comfortable, let those eyes close. And notice what you're feeling. Notice if the breath started to get away from you a little bit. Can we reconnect with that 3-part Dirga breath? Belly, ribs, heart. Maybe you feel the heart beating under the palm, the breath flowing. And reconnect with that intention. And then opening the eyes, we're going to take that little turn towards the left. A shorter stance this time with the hips facing the short end of the mat. So starting with the legs straight, and that back foot is 45 degrees. And you're going to take that back hip and bump it forward so the hips are squaring with the mat. Both legs are straight. Bring the hands behind, interlace the fingers, and start to take the shoulders down as we press into the feet and lift the heart. Watch the lower back, no crunching here. You want that tailbone pressing down. As the shoulders come together and the heart lifts, the head drops back for stargazer. Press into the feet like we're trying to split the mat apart. With every inhale, can that heart lift a tiny bit more? With every exhale, can you take the knuckles towards the back of the mat? Breathing here, feel the breath across the chest. That beautiful stretch. And then keeping the shoulders down and back, the feet exactly where they are. Simply hinge at the hips. Keep pressing the left hip back. Right hip forward. And just come to tabletop. Nice flat back, reaching the knuckles back. And breathing. If the hamstrings allow on the next exhale, continue lowering down and let the arms come up. So that's a big F. As we inhale, we rise. Bring the hands to the hips and bend the left knee. So this is a shorter stance. You might have to move that back foot back so that the knee stays behind the ankle. As we inhale, sweep the arms up and find our warrior one pose. Reaching through the fingers. As we exhale, charging warrior. So the biceps stay alongside the ears as we reach forward. As we inhale, we rise back to warrior one. 2 more times like that, extending. Hips Stay exactly where they are. That knee stays bent. Charging warrior. Inhale back to warrior one. And then take the hands to the hips, straighten the legs. We're just going to turn to the other side of the mat. So finding that stance first, back foot 45 degrees, hands to the hips, square the hips. Interlace the fingers, straight legs, shoulders down and back, lift the heart, drop the head. Big breath in, stargazer. So if interlacing the fingers just doesn't feel right here, you can use a strap or you can hold on to the wrists. And see if you can get those shoulders down, the heart lifting, and breathe into the chest. Let the exhalation create a little space. And on the next inhale, start to rise up. As we exhale, flat back, like we're trying to split the mat apart with both feet. Keep popping that right hip back, left hip forward, and take the knuckles towards the back of the mat as you look forward. Stay here on the exhale, continue coming down, just to when you feel that stretch. Right? You don't want to come into your deepest stretch here. Inhale to rise. Bending that front knee, maybe taking that back foot down back a little bit. And as we inhale, sweep the arms up for our warrior one pose. Big breath in. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Beautiful. Charging warrior. Inhale to rise. Warrior one. Exhale, charging. Inhale, coming up. And exhale to charge. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands come down, turn back to the front. Nice wide stance. Let's just twist that out a little bit. Let the arms wrap around the body. Lift the heels so we don't crank that knee. And then come back to center. We're going to come back down to the mat. Yay! So come on back down to a comfortable seat. Whatever that is for you. I'm going to separate those legs nice and wide. And just take a moment here. And as we come back down to the mat, catching your breath after the standing practice. I'm going to take the toes and point them and then bring them back up. Do that a couple of times. And then bend the knees. Doing one round of a seated pigeon, crossing the right ankle over the left and walking the left foot as close to the body as you need to feel the stretch, and find a gentle little rock from side to side. So make sure you don't slump back. Those palms are pressing into the mat, the heart is lifting, and it's a gentle opening in that right side. We'll do this on the back in a little bit. Let's switch to the other side. Crossing. Adjusting by walking that right foot closer or further away, and then finding a gentle rock from side to side. And then releasing that out. Let's bend that right knee, bring it out to the side. Sole of the foot up against the left thigh. And the left toes are coming up and back towards the body. If this bothers the knee, the leg can be out straight. We're going to find our strap. And you might want to support the right knee if it's not resting on the mat. So pivoting over that left leg, just take the strap to the ball of the foot. I'm going to stay up tonight, right? Wrapping the strap around the hands. Now, nice long spine. Press the hips into the mat. Think of that lifting that we did in our stargazer, right? Pressing the heart forward. We want to keep that, shoulders down and back. And on an exhale, simply extend over that leg and then inhale and come up. If the hamstrings are really tight, bend the knee and it gives you a little more space. So there's no destination here tonight. We're not going head to knee or toes to nose. Just gently pulsing here. And letting the body open with the breath. And the next time we come down, taking a breath and maybe pausing here. Noticing the sensation in the legs. And inhale to rise back up and just switch. So now it's that left knee that bends, sole of the left foot up against the thigh, and bringing the strap to the ball of the right foot. Sit up nice and tall, shoulders down and back. Big breath in as we exhale, hinge over the leg and come on up. So if you do this stretch every day, it only takes a couple of breaths, the body will respond. It will open up. You usually don't notice it because it happens in these tiny, tiny little bits. The next time we extend, pause here, take a breath. And as you exhale, see if you can use the exhalation just to find a little more space. And then inhale to come back up. We're just going to move the strap off to the side. We will use it again later on in class. We're going to come down onto the back. So bending the knees, right, and you can hold on to the shins or the back of the thighs. Just start to lower the body back down to the mat. And keeping the knees bent, press the feet into the floor. About hip width apart with the feet and the knees. And let the arms extend alongside the body. Take a breath and press the lower back into the mat. Notice how the hips will gently come off. And as you exhale, return to the natural curve of the spine. Let's do a few pelvic rocks like that. Just pressing the lower back down, lifting the hips, and then releasing to the natural curve. That might be enough tonight, especially if the back is cranky, right? So if that's the case, stay there. Or the next time we press the feet down, we're going to start to lift the hips and let the arms float up. The back of the hands rest above the head on the mat. And exhale, float the arms down and float the hips. Floating bridge pose. Right, and a few breaths like that. Lifting up. Exhale, coming down. Lifting up. And now your choice, you can continue floating the hips or keeping the hips up and returning the hands to the mat. Press the forearms down. Lift those hips into bridge pose. So we're not coming into the deepest expression of the pose. Right? We're just breathing here. Press the tailbone away. Lift the heart. Take 2 more breaths. And then nice and slow, 1 vertebra at a time, start to lower down. And resist the temptation to hug the knees into the chest. Take the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees rest on each other. Right, the thighs touching. Bring the hands to the belly and maybe close the eyes if that feels good. And breathe deep into the belly. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale now, hug the knees in. And start to make little circles, circling the knees in one direction. Circle the other way. Bring the big toes together and take the knees out. Press them away and then bring them back together. Little froggy legs. And then take that the other way. A nice release for the lower back after bridge. Keep the right knee in and let the left leg rest on the mat. Pulling the right knee towards the armpit or the shoulder. Entire spine is pressing into the mat. And breathe here in our Pavanamuttasana, or wind liberating pose. Make sure both shoulders are pressing down. The gaze is at the heart, keeping the neck long. And we're breathing. Right? Use the exhalation to pull that leg a little bit closer, creating that compression. And then on the inhale, you feel the thigh pressing into that right side. Let's switch to the other side. Left leg bends, right leg extends. Big breath in. Pull the knee down. So the shoulders are down, the gaze is down, and elbows are pointing towards the mat. At the same time that we pull that knee in, we exhale the breath to create some space. Big breath in, and exhale, let it go. Now let's bring that right knee back in, and one more time give yourself that hug, that little rock from side to side. Keeping the knees bent, let the feet come back to the mat. We'll come into our hip opener. It's a figure 4. Cross the right ankle over the left leg and take the right hand and give a little press to the right thigh. Right, we create this little space, this little stretch, and maybe that's enough. If you want a deeper stretch, pull that left leg in as you push the right knee away. If this is too intense, you can straighten the left leg or go back to that foot on the floor. Wherever you are, just breathing here and using the exhale to find just a little more space. Opening up the hips. It's a great stretch for the IT band. It's really good for sciatica. Take one more breath. And then switch, cross left over right. Let that right foot come down to the mat, the left hand to the left thigh, gentle press, just to create a little space and see if that's enough. If you want a deeper stretch, pull the right leg in, the hands go through that little space, and the left elbow presses into the left knee. And notice if you clenched the jaw or squeezed the eyes. If you did, you're going too deep. Breathing here, big breath in. One more breath. And as you exhale, letting everything go, extending the legs, interlace the fingers, take the palms above the head, point the toes, big stretch. And then exhale, bend the knees and take the feet back to the mat. We're going to shift the hips to the right and let the knees fall to the left. Extend that right arm out and gaze over the right shoulder, coming into a twist. Noticing the breath in the twist. Bring the knees back up and take the hips over to the left. Drop the knees to the right. Extend the left arm out. Maybe gaze over the left shoulder, or you can gaze to the right, whichever makes your neck happy. Breathing here. Let's come back to center and find our strap for a little more leg stretching. So if you're close to the wall, just kind of scoot yourself away so that the leg can extend out, and bring the strap to the ball of the right foot to start. Left knee can stay bent, and we're going to gently pulse that right leg forward and back. Without pulling, without forcing, right? Using the breath. And you can bend that right knee if you need a little more space. And take the strap in the right hand, take a big breath, and just open that leg out to the right side. At this point, you may want to extend the left leg out. If you're close to a wall, you can even rest the foot on the wall. You can place a block under the thigh, or simply use the strap for support. Extend the left arm out, palm down, maybe gaze to the left or close the eyes. Right, taking yourself out of the visual part of the pose and just feel the sensation. Feel the breath as it moves here. Deep into the belly. Exhaling completely. Next, inhale, lift that right leg. Take the strap in the left hand and cross all the way across the body. Let the right arm extend, palm down, maybe gaze to the right. And it's okay if the toes don't touch the floor. Right, you want a nice long spine here. You want to feel the stretch. You want to have the space to breathe. And then inhale that leg back up. And let's switch. Take the left foot in, drop the right foot down, and start to gently pulse the left side. And you can make that strap longer, or you can wrap the hands around, right, for a deeper stretch. And take the strap in the left hand, big breath in as we exhale. Just drop that leg out to the left side. Try to keep the right hip down, and this side might be tighter, especially if the right side is your dominant side. Just let the eyes close and breathe deep into the belly. And as you exhale, notice if there's a little more space for the body to release, relax, and let go. One more deep breath in. And inhale that leg up. Switch the strap into the right hand and cross the body. Extending left arm out, palm down, maybe gazing over the shoulder. And take 3 deep breaths here. Let's inhale that leg back up and remove the strap and exhale the leg back down. Coming up to sit just for a moment so we can set up for relaxation and, if you'd like, a restorative pose. So taking your blanket, 2 options. We can do a 3 folds, right? So we're creating this little bolster. And it's going to go across the mat so that the shoulders just dip off. Right, rest on the mat. There's this little lift. We're going to bend the knees and just let the arms splay out. It's a gentle heart opener. Okay, if you want a deeper lift, you take the blanket and roll it like a little burrito. That might be too much, depending on the shoulders and the lower back. Right? We bend the knees to relax the lower back. Maybe bring the knees together. Let the thighs touch. And just take a few breaths here. We're not going to stay here too long. It's an opening of the heart and the chest. You shouldn't feel any kind of compression in the lower back. Let the eyes close. And let the breath be really deep, filling from the belly. Go back to that 3-part belly, ribs, and heart. And as you exhale, exhaling completely. I'm going to spend a few breaths here, undoing some of that rounding forward that we do all day long. If you work at a computer, if you sit at a desk, if you drive, if you have a long commute, we're constantly hunching over, stretching out the back muscles and compressing the muscles on the front body. So this does the opposite, right? It gives us a chance to shorten those muscles in the back that are overstretched and stretch out the muscles in the front that are too short. So let's just take 2 more deep breaths here. Really feeling the breath, exhaling completely. And then gently rolling to one side and pressing yourself up. We're going to keep the same little burrito roll or taco. If you want it deeper, you can double it over. We're coming into a restorative half moon pose. So this time it comes at the waist. We're on the side. We can support with that bottom arm or extend the arm up. And maybe support with the top arm. So play with it. We won't be here for very long. So this is when we come and we go side to side. Yeah, it's a half moon pose, but down on the ground, restorative. And you may want to bend those knees, right? It takes some of the stretch out of the lower back. You may want to support the body with the arm. But let the eyes close or the gaze come down and just breathe into the sensation. Sometimes our lower back hurts because the side body is too tight. And we don't even realize that those are the muscles creating the pain. And as you breathe, just notice how the breath moves when we're in a side body stretch like this. And as we slow down the practice, notice if the mind begins to wander. I bring it back to the sensation in the body and the breath. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Each breath a little bit deeper than the one before. And then gently pressing that top hand into the mat, bringing the body up. You can simply turn. I'm going to bring my bolster to the other side so I don't have my back to you. And just set yourself up on this side. And remembering each side is different, right? So take your time. So it's right in the middle of the waist. We're laying on the side. We support the body and extend out. Maybe bend the knees, right, if it's too intense. Let's see if you can keep from rolling forward or back, right? The hips are stacked. That top hand can support you. And then let the eyes close and let the focus be on the breath and the sensation in the body. Really deep breaths here. And feeling the side body expanding with the inhale and with the exhalation, just gently releasing back down. So we hold these poses a little bit longer because it takes a while for the body to get that hint that it's okay to relax and let go. And let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Breathing in and opening the mouth on the exhalation, sighing it out. One more. And then gently pressing yourself back up. And setting up for our relaxation. Now you may want to take a restorative pose for relaxation. You can create a little bolster and create a gentle back bend, right? With support for the neck. That's one option. You can do legs up the wall. That's a beautiful option. And take a few moments and see what the body would like. If you have those blocks, you can place a block under the chest and another one under the head for supported fish pose. Not my favorite. But usually the poses that are not our favorites are the ones our body needs the most. This one takes a while to get into. So see where the body would like to be. And maybe it's just Shavasana down on the back. Maybe you might be ready for that. Just take a few moments here, settling in, and allowing the breath to lead the practice. So letting the eyes close. And let's go back to the breath. The inhale and the exhale, like a beautiful wave washing over the body. Our prana, our life force, rides on the breath. Where would we be without this breath? We never even have to think about it. The very first thing that greets us when we enter this world, and the very last thing to leave us. But when we shift our attention to the breath, it can have a profound effect on the body, on the mind, the thoughts. So let the attention ride on that breath. And as we inhale, feel the inhalation. Feel it travel down the throat and into the lungs. See if you can sense when it makes its turn and becomes an exhale, and follow that exhale back out. As we inhale, imagining our prana as a beautiful golden light, and breathing it in into the heart space, and exhaling to every cell in the body. As we inhale, that light becomes brighter, and as we exhale, it spreads until the entire body is enveloped in a beautiful cocoon of loving, healing energy. Held and supported, safe and loved. And in this safe space, allow the body to soften and let go a little bit more. Relaxing the soles of the feet and the toes, the top of the foot, the ball of the foot, the heel and the ankles. Relaxing the shins and the calves and the knees, behind the knees and the kneecaps. Relaxing the thighs, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, and the space where the legs meet the hips. Let that go. Relax the seat muscles and relax the pelvis. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, relax the belly and the lower back, the sides of the torso, the waist and the middle back, the space around the heart and the chest and the upper back, the shoulders and the shoulder blades, the upper arms, the biceps and triceps, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the hands, and all 10 fingers. Bringing your attention to the throat and the neck. And as you exhale, relaxing the chin, the lips, the tongue. Let the back teeth separate. Relax the jaw. Relax your cheeks. Space around the nostrils, the little corners of the eyes and the eyelids. Relax the space between the eyebrows and the forehead. Let your face be expressionless and your body completely at peace. Breathing in peace and exhaling anything that no longer serves you. and remembering who you truly are. A beautiful manifestation of love in a physical form, always perfect, just the way you show up. No change is necessary. We need your light to shine, now more than ever. So always honoring that beautiful light that shines from your heart, and recognizing that light in others. And when we are in this space, we are truly one. Begin to deepen the breath and bring some gentle movement, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, rocking the head side to side. If it feels good, a big stretch like you're just waking up. And any kind of movement to come back into the body, into the room. And then rolling onto one side in a fetal position just for a breath or two. And noticing the effect of the practice, the imprint of the postures in the body, the mind and the breath. And sending a wave of gratitude to every cell in your body for carrying you through class the way it did. And when you're ready, come to any comfortable seat to close out the class, joining the palms together at the heart, either hands in prayer or one hand on top of the other. Bowing the head in gratitude and thanking yourself for making the time to come tonight, to move, to breathe, to stretch, nourish the body, nurture the soul. Thanking the others for sharing in this practice. And taking this peacefulness we've created here, do not leave it on your mat. Take it into your week. Have a beautiful evening. Namaste. So if you guys can unmute yourselves.